Today, CBS Atlanta's legal expert, Ray Giudice, is in studio. We're going to get his take on the opening statements, the all-female jury, and, of course, that knock-knock joke. That's all coming up in about 10 minutes. Stay with us. Let's talk more about today's opening statements in the George Zimmerman trial. The prosecution used Zimmerman's own words against him, repeating his description to police, referring to punks who always get away. And then the defense told the jury Zimmerman was being viciously attacked when he shot Trayvon Martin. We are joined by our legal expert, attorney Ray Giudice. Good afternoon, sir.
Thanks for having me.
All right, what's your take, first of all, on the jury? We have 6 white women.
Really fascinating how we wound up with that, the big group of people we started with. I think it plays for both sides. You've got women who are, emotionally protective of both parties. I think for the state, having a young man, Trayvon, being the victim in this case, I think that may be an advantage to the government, to the prosecution in this case.
What about that knock-knock joke? We kind of cringed when we heard it.
Yeah, I did too. Keep in mind, a lot of the criticism of the opening statements are made by people who have never had to make an opening statement, so keep that in mind. However, the general rule is there's no place for humor in a murder trial unless the judge makes a joke. Then everybody thinks it's funny, and it should be. Not in your opening statement. I really like what the prosecution came out, said the words that they're going to hear repeatedly, the vulgarity, the profanity, and the nature, the aggressive nature of, reportedly, Zimmerman's comments. Hit the jury with that and wake them up. Trial has started.
Yeah, they sat up and listened after that.
Absolutely, they sure did.
Now, we talked about the appearance, Zimmerman's appearance, and how that has changed. He's obviously put on some weight, but in your opinion, that's not necessarily a good thing.
I would have shrunk him if I could, if he was my client. I'd have him look frail and skinny and maybe weak. He looks like a big guy who can handle himself. I don't know how what Mr. Trayvon Martin weighed at his death, but he's a slight kid. He wasn't a big kid. I certainly think that that's a problem for the defense. I would also have my client sit up at attention at the jury table, not look like he's asleep, not look disinterested, maybe taking notes, keeping active. I tell my clients, you are on trial from the morning you get dressed on the morning of your court date, from when you pull in the parking lot and maybe cut off a juror for that prime space in the elevator, and Zimmerman needs to know that. He's on trial. Those jurors are noticing everything he does and doesn't do.
How difficult is it going to be to prove what Zimmerman was thinking or feeling that night?
Well, that's where the prosecution came out right off the bat with this aggressive language. I want to set up the state of mind of Zimmerman as he gets out of that car, and when he's told by law enforcement, don't do that, stay where you're at, we'll handle it. I want to make sure the jury knows that this was an aggressive guy. I want to try to prove that he had an agenda, and that's what led to the use of violence.
Interesting. Now, Ray's going to be with us again tomorrow when we are expecting Supreme Court decisions on same-sex marriage and the Voting Rights Act. We will see you then, sir.
I'll be here.
Thank you.
Thanks.